Hi, so I've just finished a Sunday ride, and it was really quite a peculiar one, and it's something I thought, oh, I need to think about that. So it's Sunday, and I felt like I've been in a bit of a low funk for the entire weekend, and I thought, wow, okay, I should really go out and do some exercise. Exercise is great, gets your head right. But even when I was out of the car and on the bike, there was just this kind of reluctance in my head about it. But I was stubborn, and I told myself, stop being a wuss and get out there and do it. So I tend to go around on the red trail and time myself. The last time I did it was a few days back on a wet ride, and I did it in 32 minutes. But today, the thing that was weird is that I just kind of knew that my head wasn't in the right place. I guess the question to ask is, what do you do when your head isn't in the right place? Or should you even jump onto something that, well, for me anyway, it's quite technical. There are roots and rocks, and you fall off and you're going to go down the ridge a little bit. So it's a more technical ride. You've got to be preparing. You've got to be looking ahead, planning, and also flowing on the bike, and be aware of your body and where you are. And so there's a lot going on, which should become intuitive the more you practice and the more your skills raise up, so improve. So I mean, all right, so let's look at this. There are places on the red trail where I'm aware that my technical ability is naturally getting better. So there are places where I seem to cruise over it a lot more easily, or I remember once being more apprehensive and going to the right and taking an easier route down, whereas now I might get a bit of lift and sort of like just roll over or cruise over or even drop off stuff, or in some places get a bit of air. Nothing significant. Like, I'm not up in the air like that, but as in a couple of feet off the ground, just as a way to maintain speed. And I'm getting more comfortable with that, so that's great, and that's a natural progression. So what's happening there is that I'm becoming more comfortable on the bike. I'm gently increasing my awareness of obstacles and how I can get over those. And then I'm getting better. That's great. But what happened today was that things that were easy, even when I first went on the red trail, when I first had a crack at it, my mind wasn't in the right place. And so I'm generally a very positive person in terms of when I approach an activity or a task. I can tell myself to focus. I can put my mind on track. But today it was really weird. Like every calculation, maybe that's it. I was trying to calculate too much because I was aware. Maybe that's what it was. I wasn't having the flow. But so where I would look at and think, right, I'm going to go there, I would always end up a bit to the left or a bit to the right, and therefore dealing with a root or a rock or something that I hadn't planned for, because I wasn't where I felt like I was just sort of like 10 inches to the left or right of wherever I planned to be. And that's a bit bizarre, and it was very unsettling. And so I took it quite easy in the end. I started to think, whoa, I'm actually unsafe. And halfway around the trail, I wished that there was just a helicopter ride back to the car park. My dad and his two sons rode by. I didn't want them to think I was filming them. But yeah, okay, so yeah, my mind wasn't. My mind was trying to be in the right place, but I certainly wasn't in the right place. I was never where I thought I should be. I was always off balance. There was a bit on. I was going rather slow actually, because I'd just come up a bit of an incline, a few roots and everything, which usually I cruise over. But I was going slow, and then I was on a straight, and somehow I just ended up having to put my foot down in the bush on the side, and it was like, I am not I'm not here, man. So I guess in some ways I'm thinking, okay, like what do you do? Like if I'm aware that I'm in that mindset in the future, should I chuck myself on something technical, or was it a dangerous thing to do? Like, is it best to acknowledge you're not in the right frame of mind or mindset to do something like that, or is part of it about overcoming that, learning to overcome that and focus, and that's the ultimate in like, yeah. I would lean towards the whole thing of perhaps I could have had a different focus today. There are lots of different elements of mountain biking. So for example, that you have technical ability, being able to tackle obstacles within the terrain, and then you have the cardio aspect, which is being able to propel yourself forwards and get a better time. And yeah, I feel like today maybe I should have done something a bit. I feel like I was dangerous for having gone out and just done that, because I always felt wrong, or am I just being a wuss? I don't know. But yes, I would think perhaps maybe I should have tackled something very different today. But I'm interested to know what other people would do, because obviously my whole stance on these videos is that I'm a noob and I'm learning, and I'm openly learning. So yeah, what do you do when your head's not in the right place? I would think that there are different aspects of mountain biking, and I think that it was a bit unsafe for me to go out that day, and maybe sometimes you need to acknowledge that to yourself and find a different focus for the day. And that would no doubt, giving myself that time to concentrate on some technical, on some mountain biking basics, which would benefit me out on the trails. I feel like perhaps I should have done more of that today. And I guess so if I find myself in that headspace in the future, what would I do? What should I do? As a PT, I would always say sometimes you're going to get to the gym and not want to get involved. But there's a bit of a difference in like hitting 10 miles on the treadmill and just doing it, like get on there and do it, or hitting the weight stack and at least push in to some degree. There's a difference when it's something like a hazardous activity like mountain biking, because that can actually be dangerous. And so I'm intrigued to know if you're not in the right space. I personally think it's best to acknowledge that. Is it? It's an open question. I'm not making a statement on that, but I think I was in a dangerous place today. If you're not in the right headspace, do you pull a new focus into play, or do you just go for it anyway and tell yourself to get over it?